Welcome back to the Padilla family homestead. We are back in the garden. It has been very neglected between us being out of town and then getting home, and I have not been feeling good. I'm trying not to miss any work though, and so my day off I pretty much spent completely in bed, and I came out and watered once earlier this week, but it really needs to be watered again. There's a lot of stuff that's dying, like the cucumbers have now been totally taken over by powdery mildew. I'm not going to be able to tackle that today. I still need to finish building my trellises and moving stuff out, not trellises, bug cover, and moving stuff out, but I am not going to be overburdened by the to-do list. I also need to listen to my body and do what I can do. So I'm going to show you a picture of our starts. Those are, or a video. Those are inside. They're patiently waiting their time to come out, and hopefully that'll happen early next week. But at this point, I'm going to give a little bit of fertilizer to the garden today. I don't have a sprayer like I should have, but I'm going to make it work. I'm just going to do a little bit of fish fertilizer right now, and then I'll do another fertilizer later when I'm amending these beds. I am adding in some fertilizer at the time that before I plant them. So when I'm like hula hoeing them and so forth, getting all the weeds out, I am adding some stuff to the soil because my goal right now is to build soil. So I'm going to do a makeshift, pour some water on some of these areas with some fish fertilizer, and then I'll come back through and I'll water with the hose, making sure I get it off all the greens and onto the ground. But I don't want it to all pour down to the end of the beds because we're on slanted, we're on a hill. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and take you along on this journey. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind when using fish fertilizer is that not all fish fertilizers are the same. They all have a different NPK number. The N is the nitrogen, P is the potash, and K is potassium. I don't remember. P and K. So the N helps the leaves grow, the P helps the flowers and vegetables grow, and the K helps along with the flowers and vegetables, but also helps the roots. So watching your NPK numbers is really important. If you have too much N, then your flowers will be falling off, and your roots won't be growing, but you'll be growing big greens. Important to have a balance there. So I am building the soil. Most of what I am putting into the soil, I'm really watching what I'm putting into those beds. So I did bone meal, I think it was, for the root vegetables, blood meal where the greens were going to go. I'm really trying to make sure I have the right things in the right places. This fish fertilizer, though, is a 5-1-1, which means it's 5 parts nitrogen, 1 part potassium, and 1 part potash. So this is going to be a higher nitrogen feed. I'm only doing a little bit in each area. They still need the greens. I still want to harvest these greens. As they have more greens, they're going to photosynthesis better and so forth. So most of the time people use these hand pump sprayers that spread this out evenly. I don't have that. I used to do this in a 5-gallon bucket. I didn't have my 5-gallon bucket down in the garden handy, but I had this blue bucket that I've been using to harvest. And so I went ahead and I utilized that. I'm just trying to watch my ratio of how much fish fertilizer to how much water I'm putting in, and I'm going along with that. Again, because these are root vegetables and I have a lot of greens, it's down the ground and I'm pouring on top, I need to make sure I water I like to water the fish fertilizer off the leaves. I also needed to water more. That wasn't enough water to water this area, so I am just continually watering after I fertilize each area. I only chose specific areas to go ahead and fertilize today. The carrots, radishes, and beet area was one that I made sure I got to. I went ahead and I didn't do the back portion of this area where the turnips and rutabagas are because I need to replant a bunch of stuff. I did water them though. And then I went over to the hot peppers and to the sweet peppers and made sure I fertilized those. I have done 0 fertilizing this year other than amending the beds. Usually I have fish fertilizer going throughout the year, and usually I'm doing it every couple of weeks. This year I did not do that. 1, due to funds, 2, due to time. So make sure that you're doing probably best practices for the highest yields. And also it helps with pest protection when they have the nutrients that they need and they're not struggling. They're not as susceptible to pests. So these are all things to keep in mind when doing your fertilizing. Liquid fertilizer is also a quick acting, bioavailable right away to those plants and to the roots to suck them up. Whereas granular or dry fertilizer is going to take longer. It's a slow release for the plant to be able to absorb those nutrients. So it's a good idea to do a combination of types of fertilizers, not all one, but if you have something going on and you need a quick acting, doing a liquid is going to be your fastest results. So one of the things I do really want to do and bite the bullet and start is worm farming. This has been something that's been on my heart for a while. This year we just created these beds. It was older soil. I've talked about this, and the soil needs the benefits, and it needs good nutrients, and worm castings is a great way to do that. They're very expensive to buy at the store for this size garden, and I can create them at home pretty easily. So I am planning on getting the Hey It's a Good Life course on worm farming. So I have all the information I need, so hopefully I don't kill all the little wormies. And then we will be starting that process because I want to have a bunch of nutrients into the soil to just keep improving it for next year. The weather has been changing a lot. We've had a lot of cooler days. We're getting a little warmer again, but it's gonna be cooling down here, and you can tell, you can feel fall in the air. And I am so thankful for this break in the heat and for the change of the seasons. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to be out in the garden as much the last couple of weeks as it's been cooler, but I will be out here. I am looking forward to the slower pace fall and winter garden and really working on the soil. But on the other side, I'm very thankful for what this season has provided. So the other thing is I have to remember not to forget these green stalks because they're not down in the garden. And I keep forgetting them. They don't get watered as often as they should. I haven't fertilized them yet, and you're usually supposed to. So, if you have green stalks, make sure you don't want your soil to go hydrophobic. And so I'm really hoping some of the bottom tiers of this have not, because it was being rained on so much over the summer that I really didn't have to do much with it. But we have been drier as of late. And so I need to make sure I remember to get out here and fertilize that. Anytime you're using fish fertilizer on a porch, I highly suggest rinsing off the area afterwards. Now, where these are, they're mainly on concrete. There is a little bit of wood there. Fish fertilizer isn't that bad to me. It dissipates pretty fast. The first whiff is like, whoo, that's strong. But then after that, it does dissipate. And it's great for the garden. But you don't want to leave puddles of it if you spill some soaking in on wood, because then it's going to start picking up that smell. So that's my tip. If you're doing it on the patio, make sure that you are rinsing it off afterwards. Because I'm not doing the 5-gallon bucket, I'm also making sure that I am adding water after I add the fish fertilizer. I did it a little higher concentrated and then added the fish fertilizer. And that's it for today's video. I know it wasn't much, but don't forget to fertilize your garden. If you haven't been doing it, it may not be too late. You're adding good nutrients into the soil and preparing it for what you're planting next. So GreenStalks, all the nutrients as you water them come out the bottoms. You'll have to continuously fertilize them, and I haven't been. These are actually really dry, so I water the bottom parts of them to try to help a little bit so I don't lose all these strawberries and the green beans. But things are still growing, they're still doing their thing. So the fertilization was something that was key and was needed, along with the water. So I will be back out in the garden soon after I'm feeling better, pulling down a bunch of the old stuff, getting the new stuff out. I need to start hardening off the plants that are going to come out, so I'll start going through that process with you. And then we have some fun stuff in the kitchen coming up soon. Plus, we have a new series that I'm going to be starting. Some of the ways I spend my time inside, still being productive, making Christmas presents, so forth. I'm going to have a crochet set of tutorials coming out. I've been wanting to do this for a while. So I'm looking forward to that. I actually have quite a few friends and family who are wanting to learn, so it's a great way to be able to do so from a distance to teach them. So stay tuned for all of that, and we will see you back here on the next video.